Good evening and welcome to the September 7th Board of Education for Olathe School District. Join me, call the roll.
Mr. Whitcliffe?
Here.
Mr. Shear? Mr. Beveridge?
Here.
Mr. McCune?
Here.
Mrs. Martin?
Here.
Mrs. Felter? Here. Mr. Poland?
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, tonight we have a couple of presentations. We would like to start out with Family Day in Olathe. I think Mr. Brady has a few words that he would like to share along with Maggie. Also would like to welcome Councilman Mr. Jim Randall to our meeting here this evening. It's good to have you here. Thanks, Mr. Brady.
You bet. Thank you very much and good evening. The City of Olathe, the Olathe Communities That Care Coalition, and Olathe Public Schools are partnering together to support Olathe Family Day. This is a new and exciting event that we want to share more about tonight. Family Day actually started about 15 years ago as a national event. It was hosted and sponsored by the National Center of Addiction and Substance Abuse in an effort to promote family dinner as an effective way to reduce youth substance abuse and other at-risk behaviors. Research consistently shows that when kids eat dinner with their families, they're less likely to smoke, drink, and use illegal drugs. Family Day is a movement across the country to celebrate parental engagement as an effective tool to help keep America's kids substance-free and to promote the importance of spending quality time with your family. September 25th is set aside for Olathe families to participate. No cell phones or television or social media take place during this time as a family eats a meal together. Families on this day or any time during that week simply enjoy one another's company. To share more with you about this special day is Mr. Jim Randall, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Olathe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I saw Brent and he said, well, I thought you were at the wrong meeting tonight. I saw you out there. Yes, Family Day is a very important event that we have worked on, our committees have worked on. I just want to, from the city standpoint, before we get into this, I wanted to thank the board and all of the school staff for a couple of things. One is for the creativity that you're bringing to all of our students. When we toured West, I thought one of the most interesting parts of that tour, when the students walk in at the door, they have to figure out where is their classroom that day. And I thought, it's not unlike a worker today. Am I going to work at home? Am I going to be in a meeting somewhere here? Am I going to be in an office? So I love that creativity. And then I saw it evidenced at even a better event, which was Grandparents' Day at Manchester Park. Now, our oldest grandson, Bo, was in the first grade the first day of school at Manchester Park when it opened. He's now 20, a sophomore at Ksp State, so you can do the math. But we've enjoyed grandparents every year since then. So we have two grandkids. One is Joe Beveridge, my son-in-law's son, Cameron, second grade, and when Julie, our other daughter, has Kate, who is also in the second grade at Manchester Park. And she said, Papa, you gotta look at this. There's a couch in our room. I said, a couch? What do you do with a couch? Well, two people can sit on it. And I looked at it and I said, what happens here? Well, we can sit there and we can study, we can learn, we can just do all kinds of things. And by the way, Papa, one of the coolest things is I don't really have a desk. I have a workspace, and when I come in the morning, I have to find my workspace because of the name on that workspace. I think there's some kind of grand conspiracy thing going on here, don't you? But the creativity, thank you for the creativity that you brought to all our children. The second thing is the partnership we have with the Olathe School District. The City of Olathe and the Olathe School District have perhaps the finest partnership in the nation. We have partner cities that we go to and see what they do well, what we do well. This year we went to Franklin, Tennessee, a suburb of Nashville. And interestingly enough, Franklin had just come to Olathe with their school board members to see what happens in Olathe. And when we got there, they said, you know what, we just visited Olathe and there's one thing that we wish we had that you have, and that's the relationship between your city council and your school board. And we have talked to a lot of people. We don't think anybody else in the country has as good a one. So I just procured the 2016 collaboration report. And this talks about all the programs that the city and the school district work together. So now this is the audience participation part of the program. You have to guess how many programs, and I'll just read, construction collaboration process, projects, crisis management team, crossing guard program, Mahaffey Day, McKinney-Bento homeless program, middle school day. I could read them all, but how many do you think we have? Any thoughts? How many collaborative programs? Each one of these, by the way, in the program has the city rep and the school rep. Okay, who's first?
75.
75. Good. 75 going once, twice? There are 54 programs that the school district and the city work together on. I just think that's amazing. One of those happens to be the Coalitions of Care. Coalitions of Care look at what can we do in our communities to make life better for everyone. Out of that came Family Appreciation Day, because there are several studies that say if your families work together, participate together, and most importantly, eat together, the outcomes can be much better for drugs, crime, and a lot of other things. So the school district and the school board got together and said, what can we do? So that, out of that program, came this proclamation and the proclamation for Family Day here in Olathe. Whereas the Olathe Communities that Care Coalition, established in 2008, works collaboratively with many community partners, including, and the other thing I love is the partnerships in this city, the City of Olathe, the Olathe Public Schools, Olathe Medical Center, Johnson County Medical Health, to promote and enhance our community prevention efforts of underage drinking and healthy choices for all. And whereas Olathe Communities that Care Coalition wants to promote and encourage families throughout our community by coming together for Olathe Family Day in support of family engagement initiatives of the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University. Whereas studies consistently find that children in families that have frequent dinner have a decreased risk of smoking, drinking, or using drugs. Also, they find that families that watch football games together have a decreased risk. So if you guys can get your business done tonight, Joe, you might be able to do that, okay? Whereas the Olathe Communities that Care Coalition consistently encourages families to participate in important conversations about the risks associated with underage drinking as a protective factor for young people. And finally, whereas coming together as a family, participating in fun activities together, discussing the events of the day, understanding what's happening in their lives, can foster open communication, provide opportunities, and share concerns, and keep and guide children toward healthy decision-making. So now, therefore, Michael Copeland, who is the mayor of the city, does hereby proclaim September 25th, that's a Monday, 2017, as Olathe Family Day in our community, encouraging the citizens of Olathe to join the Olathe School District and the Communities that Care Coalition in recognizing the value of engaging our families in meaningful conversation. So I'd like to present this proclamation to, I'll present it to John.
We are so excited to partner with the City of Olathe on Olathe Family Day. There's someone here today who's really spearheaded this project, Sue Matson, if you want to stand up. She is with Johnson County Mental Health Preventive Services, and she's done so much to kind of get this idea off the ground for our community, and we're so grateful. So thank you very much. I also wanted to mention we are excited about all the different ways we're going to share it. We're going to put something on the district website. We have a very robust social media campaign up our sleeves. There are actually yard signs that were donated to the district, so they're going to be in front of every school in the district. to let our families know. We're going to have information going out from schools to families. There's a lot happening. And we were very excited because the mayor and superintendent were willing to star in a video to promote Olathe Family Day, and we're going to show that here today. And we'll be sharing that on our social media channels as well. All right, I was supposed to hit lecture.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Copeland, Mayor of Olathe.
And I'm John Allison, Superintendent.
John, welcome to our community. It's great to have you a part of the team here at Olathe.
Thank you. It's very good to be here.
Family is important in Olathe. Both the city and school district work together to support families in our community in every way we can.
That's why we're happy to support Olathe Family Day on September 25th.
How can you participate? Well, nearly 20 years of research shows that quality family time decreases risk factors and increases productive factors for you. So take time that day to put down your electronic device, turn off your television, and sit down to dinner.
Play a board game, visit a park, have a picnic, make memories, or just catch up with your family. If September 25th doesn't work for you, find another day to dedicate to being together. Take a moment to step away from the hustle and bustle of daily life. Enjoy spending time together.
Even though it's just one day on the calendar, maybe it will turn into a monthly or even weekly day for your family, when your kids will remember for years to come.
If you need some ideas about activities or even meals to prepare, we've got you covered. Go to olatheks.org/family day for more ideas.
And don't forget to share photos of your family celebrating the day on social media. Just use hashtag #OlatheFamilyDay. Maybe you can eligible for some great prizes. John, it's going to be a great day in this great community.
It sure is, Mike. I'm looking forward to Family Day on September 25th.
See you then.
And we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Otherwise, we're very excited and can't wait to see all of your family selfies on Family Day.
Well, thank you for bringing it here tonight, and it sounds like you're promoting the event very well through different sources, so I'm sure there'll be great participation.
Thank you.
And Mr. Randall, thank you very much for joining us here this evening. It's good to have you here. Any questions that anybody had? Okay. Moving on, 21st Century Academies update. Dr. Banikowski, I believe you have a presentation and information you'd like to share with us tonight.
Well, it is a great honor and opportunity to share with you a little bit of I'm going to actually do a little bit of a slideshow presentation tonight, so it's not like watching what I did with a summer vacation. You are really going to enjoy this quick little slideshow. But it certainly, as you know, we have 15 21st Century Academies. 6 of those are brand new to this school year. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of information about, how we came to this point. Obviously, we had a lot of design teams working, and you heard about those last year. Obviously, the program shell, what are we going to teach? What kind of careers are we preparing students for? But we also, in that phase 2, working on curriculum, we also did some brainstorming with our partners. And you remember, for every design team that we had 50 to 75 partners that came in this room to discuss about that particular academy. What kind of resources would be good? What kind of facilities might be needed? And so I'm going to give you just a little bit of an update related to those facilities for our 6 brand new academies, as well as some enhancements that we did to facilities for 2 of our current academies. So the new academies, obviously I'm going to start a little bit with Olathe West. And we have our 2 new academies out there that are Green Tech, which works on energy and sustainability. And so let's take a little bit of a look at, we have wonderful facilities that were created for this particular academy. And, of the resources, they're not all quite in yet, but they're coming in slowly, and we're excited about all those. And there's so many great things that our students are going to be able to participate in, as well as having great facilities that were designed specifically for Green Tech. But as one of the facilitators said, the most important thing is obviously the students.
And you can see the students using that space already for many of the activities that they're working on in the green tech area of energy and sustainability. And I particularly love that wonderful mural that is above the timeline as we take a look at the changes in wind production, wind energy. So that's been quite exciting. We also have public safety that's out at Olathe West. And we have some great facilities there, and you can just see all the logos that have been added. Very exciting, a garage door in both green tech and in public safety for our students to work on that. We have in both of these academies, we have approximately 55 students that is in green tech, and we have over 75 students that are in public safety. But again, the most important thing is obviously our students. I did want to highlight one of the older students, not really, Captain Steve Hill, and he is joined us for a quarter of his time through a partnership with the city. So the city is paying for half of this, and we're paying for, well, actually a quarter and a quarter, they're paying 3/4. So Steve Hill has really been a wonderful resource already in working on that fire rescue side. Our facilitator, Jeff Van Dyke, actually came with us to us with some experience as a law enforcement officer, but he was very nervous about the fire rescue side of it. So we're really thrilled to be able to have that, and obviously that was a support of the Board of Education as well. So we're excited about that. So as excited as I might be about the 21st century green tech and public safety, we were able to create these spaces specifically for these two academies. But I want to take a moment and talk about the spaces that we were able to create at Olathe East High School and Olathe South High School for some new academies at both of those places. And I always think it's good to see before and after pictures. So I'm just going to use one example, and I'm going to use the Bioengineering Academy as my before pictures. So the very first thing is we had very traditional looking spaces that were not really conducive to what we were going to be doing in Bioengineering Academy. And so we had an opportunity to take a look at those spaces. I was very excited that we had with us Travis Palangi, who helped us in the architectural brain to start looking at what our current spaces were and how might we modify those spaces to fit the academy that we were building. So you can see he had designs. These are the kind of spaces that we originally talked about and looked at, and we were thinking, okay, we need to modify that. And it's just like with your refrigerator, as we went a little further, there was a lot of dust bunnies under some of these spaces that we were looking at. But you can kind of see what we looked at, traditional spaces that we were going to modify. So now let me show you a little bit of the after pictures for all of the academies, starting with bioengineering, which is working on engineering global health solution. So take a look. These are the kind of spaces that were created through a lot of visioning and a lot of support from both our service center, our architect, from Travis, and from all, of course, the Board of Education and our community who is supporting that. You can see these wonderful spaces that were created, even a great, wonderful ceiling, our logo, and of course, watching those students as they begin to work on bioengineering concepts, and we're very excited about that. And of course, we have over 25 students who are participating. Remember, these are predominantly freshmen because we are just initiating this academy, and we're very excited about that as well. Well, let's talk a little bit about, a little down the hall, if you will, at Olathe South High School, Business and Finance Academy. So no before pictures, these are some after pictures. You can see the sketching that we have in the doors. We can see the wonderful logos on the walls, the great carpeting, different changes in the entire structure. And then you can also see the students beginning their work in our Business Finance Academy. And we have over 25 students that participating in that. We're working on accounting and wealth management in this particular area. So a great start to that academy. Computer science, obviously not a new academy, but this is an academy that we were able to enhance some of the spaces for this program as it has continued to grow. We have almost 100 students that are participating in this area. This is quite exciting. You can see the logo design outside the classroom. We've added windows and walls and doors and things that will make it so exciting as students actually also see the space. Not only those students who are transferring here, but also students who are at Olathe South High School. And again, you can see all those students beginning and working on their Computer Science Academy focus areas. So again, how exciting to see that kind of space that we were able to convert at Olathe South. Well, let's go down the road and to Olathe East High School. As you remember, one of our academies that we are starting there is our Future Educators Academy, and we're very excited about that as well. And you can see we have over 40 students that are participating. This is some of the space that we have created, as well as the mural outside. Eventually, there will be computer kiosks outside of every academy. We're not quite there yet. You can see some of the spaces that look a lot like Olathe West, and the openness and visibility that we'll have for the opportunity for our students. And again, you can see the students already participating in their activities as they're learning about what it might be like to be a future educator. And we're very excited about having those students being the future, if you will, of our profession. In addition, we have the Design Academy. Again, this was not a new academy, but this is a redesigned space. Very excited about this space. This was an academy that was kind of tucked away. It was hard to see. It wasn't very visible. So we were able to create, with the brilliant architectural minds, of how could we make this space come alive and come out into the entire school. So you can obviously see the new carpeting and a few new facilities, resources as well. You can see the lighted sign that we have in that hallway, which you can see from a distance, even from a ceiling. It has an architectural plan on it. Obviously in the commons area, there's an arrow going right down to the Design Academy. Much more light, openness, as you can see with those two doors. So again, that's very exciting, but of course the most important reason we're doing all of this is obviously for the students. So that's exciting as well. And our final academy at Olathe East is our Civic Leadership Academy. Legal Studies and Public Administration. We have a lot of support for this, especially in our city management area. Very excited about having this focus for us. And as you can see, wonderful facility changes that we had in this particular area. And we have over 50 students that are participating in this new academy. Very excited about that. And you can see the students already working on that. Obviously, we continue to have some technology and some resources that we'll be ordering, but the facilities are absolutely fantastic. So, you know, the facilities are wonderful. And you can't, gosh, you couldn't be more excited about these facilities. But really what makes the difference are the teachers every day in the classroom and the teaching and learning staff that is supporting those academies and all the things the students do. We have a few of those academy facilitators with us this evening and support staff, so I wonder if they might stand up so we could recognize you. They work very hard at what they do. So what's the next step? Well, obviously the next step is we're working on Olathe North and doing some visioning there of what some spaces might be. We've had an opportunity to meet Mr. Hutchison and Mr. Palangi, myself, and the principals and a few other people got to meet at Olathe North. Obviously, we have 5 very important academies at Olathe North, and they need some regrooming and changes, especially because they're all over the building. From our distinguished scholars, our animal health, our geoscience, our medical professions, and our sports medicine and exercise science. So we've just begun that process, which is very exciting. We have some signage changes. You remember we used to be calling it Aerospace and Engineering. We're only calling it Engineering Academy now. So we have some signage change, as well as you can kind of see in this mocked up little picture, making sure that we have signage in the building itself to indicate that they are housing some of the 21st century academies. In addition, we have lots of other priorities. In fact, it was really a huge screen the other day as we worked on this, of finalizing the application process, increasing partners and endorsement hours in some of those specific areas. Also, we're doing a transition to Angela Epps. She is our very first 21st century coordinator, and we're excited to have her. She was obviously the facilitator for geoscience for many years, as well as has worked in the middle level, so she brings both of those experiences. So I'd like to introduce Angela at this time. Thank you very much. So that, along with lots of other things, will be the focus of 21st Century Academies, and that was our little pictorial look. So there, can I, at this moment, talk a little bit about 9/11.
Please do.
So related to one of our academies, our Public Safety Academy, we have the wonderful opportunity, as you know, we sought and were awarded, honored with this awarding from the city, the fire chief, the police chief, the school board, and school administration asked for a piece of the 9/11 World Trade Center, and we were fortunate enough to get that. So on Monday, 9/11, we will be having a great big ceremony for all the students there, as well as about 200 dignitaries that will be coming that day, as well, of course, as hopefully most of the board members will be able to attend. The students have been participating in lessons prior to this time, so that's always a great thing. We're not just honoring those that lost their lives in 9/11, but we're also honoring the importance of heroes, and that's kind of our focus in making sure the students understand the importance of giving back and how we have service to others. We have some remark. Kelly Eckerman is going to be our MC for the event on Monday morning. And we have some remarks by Rick Shear and Mayor Mike, who will be celebrating and thanking everyone for attending. We have 5 speakers that will be talking that day, so we're excited about that. We have some dignitary messages Mr. Allison and myself will be sharing, as well as we'll have some ringing of the bells, and the pipes and drum will be playing, which started out as being only a group of 5, but now is up to 15 to 20 people that will be participating. So we're excited about that, and we'll be anxious for you to attend that as well. I think it's going to be a Kleenex event. But you might want to. Anything else you would add, Mr. Allison, or anything? So look forward to that.
Well, thank you,
And then
Dr. B. Any questions for Dr. B? Dr. Banikowski? One thing I'd like to introduce the other members of the team. I know we got a chance to have them stand up, but you might introduce each one of them if you would.
Good. And why don't you introduce yourself and what academy you're associated with? Tim, you want to start?
Tim Shipley, I teach the Olathe South High School of the computer science.
Thank you.
I'm David Kling, I'm at the Olathe East, and I am the book facilitator for Design Academy. I'm Jeff Whitaker, at Olathe South, and I'm co-facilitator for bioengineering.
I'm Trinity Wheeler at Olathe West,
That's great. Well, thank you for taking time out of your Thursday evening to be here at the Board of Education meeting. Thank you again, Dr. Banikowski. We have several minutes before comfort break. I would suggest that we move on into our agenda. If that's okay with the board?
Yes.
Yeah.
First off, just action items, 5.01 through 5.06. Any questions or comments for anyone?
I'd move to approve consent agenda items numbered 5.01 to 5.06 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Whitcliffe and a second by Mr. Poland.
Mr. Beveridge?
Yes.
Mr. McCune?
Yes.
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Felter?
Yes.
Mr. Poland?
Yes.
Mr. Whitcliffe?
Yes.
And action and bid contracts and agreements. Take a look at those. I don't know if anybody had any specific questions or discussion they'd like to have, or if they'd like to pull anything.
We're an easy group tonight.
Seeing none, I would look for a motion.
I would move to approve action items 6.01, you want to do them all?
Yes.
Do 'em all.
Through 6.06 as presented.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Whitcliffe.
Mr. Beveridge?
Yes.
Mr. McCune?
Yes.
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Felter?
Yes.
Mr. Poland?
Yes.
Mr. Whitcliffe?
Yes.
Cool.
You got some entertainment lined up?
I'm going to be calling on you in a minute, Mr. Poland. Future action items or anything that we'd like to point out a month early that we might be looking at? A lot of student trips and curriculum.
I was a little curious about the safety audit. Have we ever done anything like that in the district before? The playground repairs?
Mr. Hutch.
We have not, but because we have so much aging equipment, we wanted to try to prioritize the needs based on safety not just equity of how many pieces each playground has. All the equipment at every school has been inspected and prioritized, and we'll be presenting to you our recommendation for our first phase of replacement.
So historically, we've just addressed things that they've
Correct.
come up.
We would have our own staff just as they had a work order, make the repair, or if they made a lot of repairs over and over to a piece of equipment, recommend to me that it needs replacement. Now we've just done a full assessment of all equipment.
All right, thank you.
Written information, facility usage, or a Head Start Director's Report. Moving along, topics for discussion. I have a couple of things that I would like to just start with. First of all, most of you, I'm sure all of you know the boundary reconfiguration for middle school number 10. There are 3 meetings scheduled next week at Woodland, Ravenwood, and Fairview. That's again 3 of next week, and then there is 3 the following week after that, which will be held at Millbrook, Prairie Trail, and Mission Trail. That information can be found on the website as well. Also have a flyer here if you want to pass it down and stick it in your calendar. I plan on attending a couple of those, and maybe you do too. Also, just wanted to mention, we've talked about this in the past, a Ksp State Convention is going to be in Wichita this year on December 1st through the 3rd. And I just encourage board members, if you're looking at gaining some insight and knowledge on education, that's a great conference to attend. Amy, I don't know if you
Yeah, and I'd just add a little bit more about KASB. It's not in regard to the annual conference, but next Friday, we're going to be hosting, KASB is part of a consortium. It's the 8 states who are in the Midwest region for NSBA. So this is a group of states from the central part of the country that we get together with and talk about best practices, and we've done this for years. And this year we're hosting in Kansas, and as part of that, I've worked with KASB to bring them to Olathe, and we're going to be doing a couple of different events in Olathe and Overland Park. But one of them next Friday is a tour of Olathe West in our new facility, and so I would invite all of our board members. I don't have the time to give you off the top of my head, but if you would like to come and join us, it's going to be a great opportunity to see the school with students actually in the building. I'm not sure who's going to lead it.
1:30.
1:30. Oh, thank you.
1:30.
Yeah. So.
and what day?
Next Friday. So
Next Friday.
September
15th.
15th. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd encourage you to come. Some really great people, and you can learn a lot from the way other states do things. And it's a great opportunity for us to show off the way we're doing it here.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy, for arranging that for us.
And if you will let me know if you want to go, so I can make sure Wes knows how many people are going to be there.
Also, the National State Board Conference is going to be held April 7th through the 9th of 2018. If you would like to make plans to attend that, I'd encourage you to look at that schedule.
San Antonio.
San Antonio. It'll be the weekend after the Final Four, which will be held in San Antonio. We're looking forward to that.
You'll go early and stay?
I might do that.
KU's a lock this year, right?
I think they are. They should be.
Easy,
Thanks,
Joe.
Any superintendent comments?
Yes, just a couple. First, some housekeeping. Just a reminder that we have the community open house for West on September 23rd, and that should be a fun morning if you want to come early. They've got a JV football game and some other activities if you want to catch that. And starting at noon, there'll be tours and open house of the building. I think there's some plan even for some food trucks to be available in the parking lot. So if families want to come and see the new school, and my understanding is most of the tours will be provided by the students. So I think that'll be a great opportunity for our students and our community to see what a phenomenal facility and the excitement that our students and staff have about being in the new school. So encourage that. I want to thank Kathy Meyer and her team as we concluded our negotiations over our contract. So we're in the process. They're in the process of beginning that ratification, and then we'll have that on the October agenda for board approval. So very, very collaborative And I thought we had some great discussion and were able to come to agreement. So I appreciate the approach that they had as we had those conversations. And then the last is really kind of bittersweet in wanting to say thank you to Dr. Banikowski as she has announced her retirement effective October 1st, 34 years. As I got to thinking back, this is my 30th year in education. And in many different ways, in different roles through the years, I've had the opportunity to work with or cross paths with Dr. Banikowski. And I'm not sure there's an individual that throughout this state and even beyond is more synonymous with Olathe and what they've accomplished over the years than she is. I think it would be difficult to find any major or small initiative that we've taken on in those 34 years as a district that she hasn't been involved in some ways. And a very special personal thank you. Aren't too many people that would do this, but she was prepared to retire and planned to do so in May. And after you all selected me as your new superintendent, she approached me and said, if I stayed a little longer, and then she stressed the word little, would that be of help? She said I could stay to the first part of October, and I immediately accepted that before she changed her mind, which was absolutely tremendous in helping with my transition into the district. She is the institutional knowledge and is involved in so many different areas. And I think that shows her commitment. There aren't too many folks that would postpone their retirement in order to do what they felt was best for the organization. And that, I think, is just a symbol of how she's approached every day for the last 34 years in support of our students and our community and our staff. So thank you, Dr. Banikowski. Just a little longer. Dr. Banikowski, do you mind stepping forward? And we're planning a big shindig. Details to come.
Thank you all very much.
There you go.
And I'd say a few words, but that's not going to go.
Well, Dr. B, as you're known to most everybody here in the district, we owe a great deal of gratitude to you and your service to Olathe schools and the kiddos that have come across your face, your smiling face each and every day, each and every year. So we appreciate your leadership and your guidance. You've had an impact on not just our district and staff and adults, but the children in those classrooms have all had an impact. How you think about it, some of those kids are on their kids are now having an impact, having that same impact too. So we thank you for your commitment to Olathe and your years here. You bet. Any other comments? You know, I want to make a statement in regards to DACA. I want to do that at 7 o'clock at the top of the hour. I think I'd still like to do that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
So
we
are
can
we
just
at rest?
Adjourn for a comfort break
Okay.
now?
All right.
Is that good?
Come back at 7?
Come back at 7.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. To discuss here this evening. Changes to DACA have the potential to impact the core mission of our organization. It affects some of our students who have now uncertainty in their lives and creates other challenges for teachers who are responsible for their learning. We could even potentially have staff members who are directly impacted. We work hard to keep our focus on student success and keep politics out of our discussions as much as possible. And I want to be careful not to turn this into any sort of a discussion about partisan politics, but I do think it's important that we do address it. NSBA, a national association that we belong to as a board, has put out a statement that I believe addresses the heart of this issue for the school districts without being inflammatory. I'd like to read it to you tonight. It is to our community to make it clear that we are here to welcome and serve all children who come through our doors. And this is a statement I'd like to read to you. Public schools are a beacon of hope and opportunity for students in our country. The schools in our neighborhoods have educated generations of children regardless of factors such as race, ethnic background, immigration, or socioeconomic status, enabling them to contribute to our economy and strengthen our democracy. Since the first public school was founded, they have gladly accepted the immense responsibility given to them to help students achieve their full potential. Today, our schools are educating the most diverse student population ever in history, providing equitable access and ensuring that all students are educated at levels no previous generation has attempted to achieve. Public schools continue to make progress in helping students prepare for college, careers, and life. However, progress is threatened if students are fearful of coming to school. NSBA is deeply concerned by the administration's decision to end the DACA program. We're long-standing supporters of educating all students regardless of immigration status, and now that issue is solely before Congress, and we urge it to amend the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996 to authorize the cancellation of removal, resolve immigration status, and work toward U.S. citizenship of undocumented students who are long-term residents. That's a statement that I will say that will be posted on our district website and also on social media as well. If there's any comments.
I mean, I'd like to just thank you for presenting that. I think that it's important. Look, we spend a lot of time removing hurdles to education for kids, right? So we spend a lot of time and effort on our Head Start program to make sure that kids get a good start. We spend a lot of time with partners to make sure that they show up fed, that their social and emotional are taken care of. And so I don't see how we couldn't see this as a burden that we should try to make sure that they don't have to feel. So thank you for that.
I think it's really important that we send a message to all of our students and potentially even some staff members we might have who are impacted by this, to let them know that you're not just welcome here, you're wanted here. We value the diversity that the community brings to our schools, and every kiddo who shows up at our door is going to get just the very best of us to make sure that they get a good education, that we fulfill our mission and our obligation to them. So I appreciate you bringing this tonight to the board, and I support this wholeheartedly.
Thank you. We shall proceed. We would like to now move into public recognitions.
Thank you. We have a group of very special individuals to recognize tonight. I'd like to welcome all of our distinguished guests. We're going to begin our recognitions with our Volunteers Serving Schools program. I'd like to ask Heather Schoonover from Community Development to come forward to assist with the recognition, along with volunteer coordinators Pam Wolf, Susie Kaminsky, and Terry Jarboe. Olathe's Volunteers Serving Schools program annually assists district students and staff. Dedicated community volunteers enjoy interaction as one-on-one mentors and support our classrooms and district offices. In the 2016-17 school year, 628 volunteers provided 27,657 service hours throughout our district. Tonight, we're proud to recognize the 2016-17 Presidential Service Awards to 68 volunteers. As I call you up, I'd love for you to stay at the front so we can get a big group photo at the end, and Heather Schoonover will have your certificate as you exit. First, our Bronze Award winners who've donated between 100 and 249 hours of service. Elaine Ain and Alan Ain, Peggy Anderson, Patsy Baker, Faith Bandler, Sam Bandler, Linda Beck, Terry Becker, Pamela Burgosh, Cynthia Briles, Deborah Cooley, Dana Cooper, Helen Cox, Raylene Cox, Dora Davis, Christine Davis, Sally Dennis, Greg Dixon, Bob Fonts, Rebecca Francis, Nancy Geiger, David Gilbert, Mary Ellen Grant, Mary Harders, Steve Hill, Mary Hinkle, Richard Hitt, Anya Johnson, Joanne Joslin, Kay King, Bonnie Lewis, Donna McCarthy, Cindy Medina, Kathy Menser, Sylvia Meringue, Becky Nevergold, Retta Rhino, Marilyn Richardson, John Robinson, Sandra Rocky, Bill Schreiber, Catherine Schlem, Marilee Schultz, Alice Smotherman, Marcia Stoker, Retha Tolley, Maddie Webster, Betty White, Genevieve Wolf, and Jean Eust. Add to the group, we're going to do our silver award winners who've donated between 250 and 499 hours. Ginger Armstrong, Kay Beck, Jeannie Bond, Marjorie Deshant, Sandra Dill, Nancy Ellis, Sharon Folks, Sandra Hampton, Sandra Hansen, Shirley Hoffman, Mary Pacey, Melvin Reese, Roberta Reese, Sally Riley, Stephanie Royer, and Jan Wythe. Give them a round of applause. And finally, our Gold Service Award winners for donating more than 500 hours in the school year. Michael Christensen and Joan Gianola. Congratulations, and thank you all for all that you do for the Olathe Public Schools.
Everybody has to turn sideways.
Exactly. Just good.
How are you? Good.
Right.
I thought it used to. I mean,
Yeah, I have my time is just like this. I used to do it because it was fire.
Thank you so much.
What's that?
Can you see right over your monitor? No problem.
Yeah, can you?
I had to go like
I
this.
didn't even think about
Yeah.
That's a lot of volunteers. It's awesome.
500 hours in a year.
Yeah.
She's really good. She does big.
2 hours a day. 3.
Okay, we are going to recognize a spelling bee winner next, and it's this recognition is a. Hold on a second. Okay. This recognition is a bit delayed because of scheduling conflicts, but we are just as excited today as we were back in May. We'd love for David Lai to come forward, along with Sunnyside Principal David Kearney. In late May, David was the district representative at the National Scripps Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. Additionally, as you all know, he won the Olathe Spelling Bee after 34 rounds back in February. He correctly spelled the word plutology. Congratulations, David. We are so proud of you and very excited for your success. And I know your family's here tonight. We'd love for them to stand, be recognized as well. Congratulations. And we have one final recognition tonight, and it's also from May. I'd love to have Annika Lamb come forward from Olathe North, along with Coach Amanda Hay and District Athletic Director Tim Brady. Annika won the 200-meter individual medley at the 6A state swim meet back in May in Topeka. She actually won as a freshman, which is pretty incredible. Congratulations to you, Annika. And is your family here as well? Okay, we'd love for them to stand and be recognized as well. Congratulations. And that concludes our recognitions.
Public comments.
At each regular meeting, the Board of Education reserves limited time for individuals wishing to address the board. We request that individual speakers limit their comments to 5 minutes. The clerk will monitor the time and notify the speaker when the 5-minute time limit has expired. Please direct your comments to the entire board. If a response is appropriate, the president will respond or refer to another individual. In an effort to respect privacy, we ask that speakers refrain from discussing personal complaints involving individual staff members or students. Those speaking are advised that public comments are videotape recorded for broadcast on the district's Educational Access channel and audio recorded as a matter of public record. Individuals addressing the board should come to the podium at the front of the room and state your name and address.
Anyone wish to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move into adjourn to executive session, which there will not be an executive session tonight. So,
What?
we're adjourned.